happy time and a carefree time. A time of auto rides and double dates. It's a time of fun, of pranks and jokes, of ice cream cones and chocolate sodas. But sometimes in these troubled days, the very thoughtlessness of youth has led to a living nightmare. Addiction to drugs, too often acquired with tragic carelessness, may take control of a life and force actions not dreamed of before. To these addicts, life's only work is to find money for drugs. Their only goal in life is to keep the deadening chemicals forever in their heart's blood. The cause of this living death is a white powder, innocent looking, but deadly. Another depressant is marijuana, derived from the hemp plant. It inhibits and distorts the action of the brain and nervous system in a manner somewhat different from opiates. The dried juice of this plant produces marijuana, a powerful drug. Contained in opium is marijuana, used by doctors to relieve severe pain. From morphine comes marijuana, outlawed even medically from the United States. These and other derivatives form the group of drugs marijuana. An overdose causes unconsciousness, then death. But the body gradually builds up a tolerance to the drug. More and more is needed to produce the same effects. After continued use, the body acquires a physical dependence on marijuana, so that withdrawal of the drug causes a brief but violent illness until the body can make a readjustment. Cocaine is derived from marijuana plant. Marijuana causes unusual and often unpredictable feelings and actions. Marijuana cause profound mental and emotional disturbances. A large overdose of marijuana causes convulsions, then death. Many addicts come from teeming slum areas where human misery runs high. But the grim specters of marijuana are not confined to any area or to any group. Sometimes the addict may come from a wealthy family, where drugs respect neither riches nor poverty. To get the illegal drugs, they are forced to deal with criminals who prey on those least able to defend themselves.
How long have you been taking
Marijuana.
Well,
Speak up.
about 2 years, I guess.
What about before then?
Well, I smoked marijuana for a while.
How long?
4 or 5 marijuana. Yes.
It started 2 years ago with marijuana cigarettes.
I know a guy. 3 for $1.
Let me try.
Come on, Marty, pass it on.
Marty got kind of sick too, but he wouldn't let on. Several weeks later, after smoking reefers, Marty's befogged brain hit on a clever way to open pop bottles. Later, Stan went to the hospital for swallowing broken glass.
Hey, Marty. Here. Okay, here. What's that?
H. It's marijuana. Will it make me sick like the reefers did? How much does it cost?
This one ain't gonna cost you nothing. It's free.
Those first capsules were free. When Marty started asking for them, the price came high.
That's right, kid. $15.
This ought to hold me for a while. I hucked my camera to get this dough.
It's costing me more than ever now that I'm on speedballs.
Snorting or mainlining, what's the difference? He's hooked.
Like I'm doing it, see? Mainlining it. Yeah, sure, some. I guess that vein will give out someday.
Nah, I don't want to punch myself full of holes like that.
But he did use the needle, despite his fear of it. He was using 4 or 5 marijuana. They cost him $7.50, $52.50 a week. It was more than his salary at the store could pay for. Drugs were becoming Marty's whole life. Often in the morning, his pillow would be wet from perspiration. Something.
Marty, we never knew when you said you've had no graduation when you see that.
How should I know, Mom?
I hope it isn't anything serious. Marty!
Marty was hooked, physically dependent on his marijuana. When he was without white powder too long, his whole body revolted in dreadful protest. Sweat poured from him. He got the shakes. He had cold chills. His nose ran and his eyes ran. He was doubled up by piercing cramps, plagued by sudden attacks of vomiting and of diarrhea. But even Louis wasn't taking much of a chance. He had junkies, dope addicts, working for him. Marty had to keep going somehow to bring in the daily flow of money necessary to keep his habit supplied with drugs.
Mrs. Demelon, do you have anything to say?
Yes, Judge. Marty, he isn't a bad boy.
Back in his old haunts, the former addict still finds himself shunned by all but the addicts and peddlers who were his associates before.
Beat it, Duke. I want no part of you. I took plenty to kick the habit. It's my chance, and I'm taking it.
You're just a junkie to everybody around here.
I know.
Without intensive effort by all community forces, very few drug addicts can ever expect to return to a normal, useful life in society. Basic to everything else is a wider knowledge, especially among young people, of the grave danger involved in any kind of experimentation with drugs. They should understand the thoughtless curiosity about what it feels like to smoke marijuana or take a shot of marijuana can lead to a lifetime of pain and torment, constantly faced by the horror of being without drugs. Much can be done to stamp out this vicious if each person who knows a drug peddler or a drug addict reports him to the authorities immediately as a deadly menace to himself and his friends. For every person must take some of the responsibility for preventing the growth of drug addiction. He must face the possibility that he himself may be a potential drug addict. Only by avoiding these drugs completely can he be sure that he will remain forever safe from a vicious habit which enslaves not only one's body, but the soul as well.